we were in Notre Dame. It was a 15K. You played AJ first round, I want to say. And I think
Yep.
you had just started working with Alejandro Gonzalez. I think it was around that time.
Yeah, that
And
was my first tournament back from elbow surgery too.
okay, because I saw you playing there, and I had seen you maybe a few times in the years prior, but I think you had some injuries as well. And you looked like a very physical player, but your shots weren't that damaging at the time. I remember you playing with like lots of spin. You were moving really well, and you were fighting super hard, but you weren't really like taking the match with weapons or whatever.
I was
And I
probably
remember
tight
you,
as a drum playing AJ too.
yeah, yeah. So, but you won like 2-on-1 or something, but it was like it didn't look like super. This is my match. I'm gonna take over, and I'm just gonna do this and this, and it's gonna be done. It looked like I'm gonna fight my way through these games, and it's gonna be a little dicey, and then you're just more solid than he was.
Yeah.
But I saw you again, like in Cleveland, like a year and a half, maybe 2 years later, and you were hitting serves like 140. You were ripping the shit out of every forehand. Every backhand was clean and like stepping into the court. And I was like, okay, this guy changed. Like it's different. It's
Yo, I
different
remember
now.
I
Like
saw him in Champagne at the chance. Like, what the fuck's going on here?
yeah, yeah.
What's
Like
going
it
on
was
here?
just different. Like
I
you
was
had
ripping in champagne that year though, to be fair.
I was like, what's going on here? And the bro was so locked. He was upstairs, way down in the corner, not fucking with nobody.
Yeah. Yeah.
look at the wall, just stare at the wall for 3 hours for the match.
Yeah.
But I guess we're very curious about what sort of work goes into going from this game that looks from the outside, I don't know what you felt, but it looks like there's quite a bit of fear in
100%.
executing your game plan to a
Yeah.
game that looks like I own this identity and this is how I'm going to play and I don't really care what you do. I'm going to take over this match. Like what kind of work did you and Alejandro do to get you from this player that looked a little bit tight to a player that looked like I'm in control?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think, yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. I spent a lot of the younger years in my career being passive, I'd say. Just being passive, waiting for guys to make mistakes, playing a little bit, I would say just not to lose instead of to win. And I mean, when you're out there for a couple of years, you probably start to realize that, man, you gotta take it. You gotta go out there and you gotta play some aggressive tennis, and you gotta swing out on your shots and be committed to what you're trying to do out there. So that's something that I still have to work on daily. I mean, my natural instincts are to play far behind the baseline and make balls and run. Like I've just always been that kind of a player. I'd like to think over the last 3 or 4 years, I've transitioned into, what you see more from my game now. But yeah, I mean, it took a lot of work and it still requires a lot of work to reinforce, the way that I want to play. And it's really just comes down to being committed out there and knowing that the way I'm trying to play will be the way that gets me any kind of relative success. I'm not going to have any success 8 feet behind the baseline waiting for guys to miss. That's just not going to happen.
Like, was it hard for you it was just a decision that, yo, I need to play this brand of tennis? Or was it like, okay, I need to play this brand of tennis and I need to learn how to? Meaning, like, did you have to figure out how to produce a bigger ball, how to play that way? Or do you think it was more like a decision that you need to just pay attention to? You're slipping into this maybe more defensive, more consistent game style and away from aggressive at taking it?
I think a combination of both. I mean, really, when I started working with Alejandro, obviously he's. I mean, I can't say enough about him and how much he's helped my game and my mentality, and he's definitely been the biggest driving force in that, and that you got to go out there and take it. And so a little bit of is that realization of, hey, this is not the way I'm going to have any kind of success. And then you go to the drawing board with, in my case, with him, and figure out, okay, well, I need to serve big. I need to hit forehands big when I can, and my backhand needs to be extremely solid. I can't be getting pushed around to that corner that often. And then how do you do that? Do you need to make technical changes? Do you need to make adjustments with your feet? Do you need to make a little bit of an equipment change? Does your racket and your string setup play a role? So we kind of looked at all that and we still do. I'm still trying to find ways to improve in that area because I know that's the way that will get me to where I would like to go. Hopefully,
He was a top 100 player. So
Yeah.
he put the City Pass the other week, and he was talking about how he was excited to work with Goran Ivanisevic because he's a former player, and he kind of coach him from the perspective of how somebody wants to beat him. So like if he wanted to beat City Pass, how would he play him? Does he do that with you? He tells you like, if I was playing you, I would do this, I would do that, and you kind of work
100%.
that way.
And
Yeah.
does he?
Well, we actually played like 3 months before he retired in Pensacola, and I drummed him like 1-1. So sometimes he's like, if I was playing you, I was like, dude, you did play me. You won 2 games. No, we definitely look at it from that angle, and also just from an angle of I watch a lot of my matches. He obviously watches everything. It's pretty obvious the way that guys are having success against me, or what they're trying to do at least.
You want to share that with the world? I'm playing.
Not really.
I'm playing.
All you'd have to do is send a text to anyone who was in Tyler or Little Rock. They could probably tell you. But that's it, right?
They weren't very successful.
At the end of the day, when you go out there and play Rafa, you know what you have to do to beat Rafa.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you can't do it. Or Yannick or Carlos. Yannick, I have no idea. But
Yeah.
Thanks for watching
For
this
the-
clip. If you want to watch the full episode, the link is in the description down below.